has been a dramatic increase in the amount of anger and violence that's taking place in America. And what Texas is doing in a big time way, we are working to address that anger and violence by going to its root cause, which is addressing the mental health problems behind it.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott was recently confronted with polling that shows the majority of Americans do in fact want common sense gun reform. Now that confrontation on Fox News happened after yet another mass shooting took place in Texas over the weekend on Saturday, which led to the deaths of 8 individuals and several others are now hospitalized with injuries. So before we get into debunking some of his claims regarding mental health, why don't we actually go to the exchange showing him getting confronted with this polling from Fox News? Let's watch.
This is just out from Fox News. When you ask people what they would favor, background checks for guns, enforcing existing gun laws, legal age to 21, requiring mental health checks, flagging people for danger to self, all of those score at more than 80%.
At the state level, listen, this is something that we've been grappling with over the past year. And there are some potential easy solutions, such as passing laws that we're working on right now to get guns out of the hands of dangerous criminals and to increase penalties for criminals who possess guns. Shannon, we've seen an increased number of shootings in states with easy gun laws, as well as states with very strict gun laws. I think that the state in which the largest number of victims have occurred this year is in California, where they have very tough gun laws, where 11 people died. And so one thing that we can observe very easily, and that is there has been a dramatic increase in the amount of anger and violence that's taking place in America. And what Texas is doing in a big time way, we are working to address that anger and violence by going to its root cause, which is addressing the mental health problems behind it.
So I want to get to the mental health comments in just a moment, but prior to him mentioning mental health, he talked about how, oh no, in Texas, we're actually thinking about some policy that would penalize people in possession of illegal guns. Okay, interesting, because all we've seen from the state legislature in Texas, all we've seen from people like Texas Governor Greg Abbott is loosening gun laws in the state. In fact, let's go to graphic 9 here because I want to give you a specific, fairly recent example. So in June of 2021, multiple members of NRA leadership embattled NRA chief executive Wayne LaPierre and NRA president Carolyn Meadows joined Abbott for a special bill signing ceremony for House Bill 1927. NRA-backed legislation that allows Texans to carry handguns for self-defense without a license from the state so long as they don't have a criminal history. So how exactly are you working toward common sense gun reform that the majority of Americans clearly want? I also want to just quickly bring up the polling that he was confronted with in that interview, because there's something that he didn't really get asked about, which is the very last line there, where the poll respondents were asked, do you favor more citizens carrying guns? Only 45% said that they support that. Now we'll get to the mental health statements in just a moment, but Cenk, I wanted you to chime in.
So a couple things here. First, if 87% want background checks for guns and you don't have it, do you really live in a democracy? If 81% want to enforce existing gun laws and raise the legal age to buy guns to 21, but you don't get it, do you really live in a democracy? I could show you at least 24 issues, not just related to gun control, where it's over 80% of Americans say we definitely want that. And the politicians go, no, we got paid by lobbyists against that. So we don't give a goddamn that 87% of you want it. We're all crooks, okay? And this guy's a master crook. So let me get to Abbott specifically. I want to read the next couple of graphics because I think they're so telling. But before I do, let me give you one more fact about Abbott. Abbott said during a debate he said about gun control and mental health, he said, oh, there's already $25 billion going towards mental health. People are like, where the hell did he invent this gigantic number from? And it sounds like he's referring to some provision of Obamacare that helps in terms of Medicaid overall, not about mental health or specifically Texas. And Greg Abbott fought tooth and nail against it. So the guy's a giant liar, okay? Now I get you, most politicians are liars. None of the people in media ever tell you that. But Abbott lies for a living. So let's give you a sense of it. Let's go to graphic 2. Abbott's off-cited 105.5 million spending in response to the mass shooting includes $5.8 million to fund the Texas Child Health Access through telemedicine, $4.7 million for Health and Human Service Commission to include multi-system therapy across the state, $950,000 to the HHSC to expand coordinated specialty care. Okay, that sounds, so hold on, that sounds pretty good, right? What do you mean? I mean, it's not 25 billion, but 105 million sounds like a big number for Texas. He put that in. Okay, let's continue from ABC News. But it comes after a $210 million cut to HHSC, which oversees mental health services in the state over the past 2 years in order to finance Operation Lone Star, the border security initiative launched in March of 2021. So you see what he did there? Sleight of hand. Every reporter in Texas and across the country should call Greg Abbott a liar, which is exactly what he said. He said, I increased mental health spending by 105 million. What he didn't tell you is he decreased it earlier by 210 million. So he put half of it back and then goes, I increased it. What a terrible, sick, disgusting liar Greg Abbott is. And then I want to read you this one as well, because it's perfectly on point. Also from ABC News, only 16.5 million out of the 105.5 million, about 15% of the total, went to expand statewide mental health resources, while the other 85% has been allocated toward police training, personnel travel, and security upgrades for classrooms, including $50 million for bullet-resistant shields. Bullet-resistant shields for the kids or for the cops? So only 15% of the money he put back went to actual mental health, 85% went to the cops. This is all a giant lie. Greg Abbott doesn't care about mental health at all. All he cares about is protect my gun donors, my gun beloved donors. I'll lie and cheat and steal for you. Oh, the kids are all dead, who cares? That's Greg Abbott for you, a total monster. I'll agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on this. She said the reason for the mass shootings is evil forces. Correct. Evil forces like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Greg Abbott.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.